Lutein is often talked about as though it's just another nutrient on a long list of supplements people are encouraged to consider, but the truth is far more extraordinary. Lutein is a repair molecule, one that becomes especially powerful once your body enters the deep restorative stages of sleep. During the day, your eyes and brain are constantly exposed to stress. Sunlight, screens, pollution, and even normal metabolic processes create oxidative damage, and over time this wears down delicate tissues responsible for vision and cognitive performance. But the amazing thing is that your body was designed with a built-in restoration cycle, and lutein is one of the key tools it uses to rebuild what daily life breaks down. Once you fall asleep, your body shifts from action mode into repair mode. Cells begin clearing out waste, reducing inflammation, and restoring the nutrient levels that fuel healthy function. This is when lutein goes to work most effectively. It travels to the retina where it acts like a natural shield, strengthening the macular pigment that protects against blue light damage. At night, when your eyes are resting, lutein helps regenerate these tissues so they can function sharply when you wake. This repair is especially important for seniors because with age, the natural lutein levels in the retina thin out, making the eyes more vulnerable. Replenishing lutein daily gives your body the raw material it needs to rebuild vision from the inside out. But lutein's influence doesn't stop at the eyes. One of the most fascinating discoveries in modern nutrition research is that lutein accumulates in the brain, especially in areas tied to memory, learning, and processing speed. When you sleep, your brain performs a nightly detox. It clears metabolic waste that builds up during the day, resets communication pathways, and consolidates memories. Lutein supports this entire process. It reduces inflammation in neural tissue, improves the efficiency of communication between brain cells, and strengthens the structural integrity of neurons. Over time, this can help with clearer thinking, better recall, and sharper focus. For seniors, this is a game changer. Many people believe declining memory or slower cognitive function is simply an unavoidable part of aging, but research continues to show that nutrient intake plays a significant role in maintaining mental performance. Lutein functions like a maintenance nutrient, one that fortifies the brain during the hours when it's most vulnerable to oxidative stress. With consistent intake, you're essentially feeding your brain the supplies it needs to restore clarity while you rest. The beauty of lutein is that it doesn't require effort or lifestyle overhaul. You don't have to change your routine, adopt complicated habits, or take extreme measures. You simply nourish your body with lutein, rich foods during the day, and your body takes care of the rest while you sleep. Seniors who regularly consume lutein often report improvements in visual comfort, less eye strain, clearer night vision, and even enhanced mental sharpness, all because their bodies finally have the nutritional support required to repair nightly. Give your body the chance to rebuild by supplying it with the nutrient it's been waiting for. As we continue exploring how the body rebuilds itself at night, it's important to understand why seniors, in particular, depend so heavily on nutrients like lutein. With age, the natural pigment inside the eye, specifically the macular pigment, begins to thin. This pigment acts like an internal pair of sunglasses, filtering harmful blue light, blocking oxidative stress, and keeping the central field of vision clear. When this pigment weakens, the eyes become more vulnerable to daily wear, making it harder to read, drive, recognize faces, or see clearly in low light. Many people assume these changes are simply an unavoidable part of aging, but the truth is far more empowering. Your macular pigment can be rebuilt and strengthened, and lutein is the primary nutrient your eyes require for that process. Think of the macula as the central command center of your vision. It controls clarity, sharpness, and detail, everything you rely on for independent living. Signatures, screens, instructions, medication labels depends on the health of this one small area. Unfortunately, Studies consistently show that seniors consume far less lutein than their eyes need to stay protected. And the body doesn't produce lutein on its own. It must come from the foods you choose daily. This is why the decline becomes noticeable with age. Less dietary lutein means less macular pigment, and less macular pigment means reduced protection against the very stressors that accelerate vision loss. But here is where the good news becomes powerful. The eyes respond incredibly well to lutein when it's supplied consistently. Even in older adults, lutein helps rebuild macular density, almost like adding layers back to a thinning shield. This protection becomes even more important at night while you sleep, because this is when the eyes undergo their most critical recovery work. During sleep, the body repairs damaged cells, reduces inflammation, and restores antioxidant levels. Without lutein, the eyes are left trying to repair themselves without the materials required. But with enough lutein, the nightly rebuilding process becomes far more efficient, allowing seniors to wake up with fresher, more resilient vision. And this isn't just about preventing long-term conditions like macular degeneration, though lutein plays a major role there as well. It's also about supporting the small, everyday moments that define quality of life. Lutein helps with adjusting to changing light, recognizing faces, improving contrast sensitivity, and reducing the glare that can make nighttime vision more difficult. These improvements may seem subtle at first, but they add up to a tremendous difference in confidence and independence as the days go on. Just as importantly, lutein. Rich foods support the brain along with the eyes. This dual benefit matters deeply for seniors because vision, cognition, and emotional well-being are closely connected. When you see more clearly, you navigate life with more ease. When your brain is nourished, you think more clearly, feel more stable, and retain information more effectively. Lutein supports both systems simultaneously, making it one of the most efficient nutrients you can add to your routine. The message is simple. As you age, your need for lutein doesn't decrease, your need increases dramatically. When we look at where lutein comes from in the natural world, two foods rise to the top with remarkable potency: spinach and kale. These leafy greens aren't just healthy additions to the plate. They are some of the most concentrated sources of lutein available, making them incredibly valuable for seniors who want to protect both their vision and brain function. What makes them so unique is not only the sheer amount of lutein they contain, but also the way their nutrients interact with the body's nightly repair cycles. When you consume spinach or kale during the day, you're essentially delivering an abundant reserve of raw material your eyes and brain will draw on once you fall asleep. Spinach, for example, carries a type of lutein that is easily taken up by the retina. When you eat it regularly, the macular pigment in your eyes begins to thicken, providing a stronger barrier against blue light and oxidative stress. Your eyes are exposed to these stressors all day long, whether you're reading, watching TV, or scrolling on a phone. But with spinach as part of your routine, the lutein within those green leaves travels directly to the retina, helping rebuild damaged cells during the deepest stages of sleep. This is why seniors often notice that when they incorporate more spinach into their meals, their eyes feel less fatigued. Their focus improves, and their ability to see clearly in varying lighting conditions becomes noticeably better. It's not magic. It's the body finally receiving what it needs to restore itself. Kale takes this nourishment to another level. Gram for gram, kale contains even more lutein than spinach, making it something of a powerhouse for vision health. But beyond its lutein content, kale also delivers antioxidants and phytonutrients that support the brain. These compounds help reduce inflammation within neural pathways and protect the delicate structures responsible for memory, concentration, and processing speed. When consumed consistently, kale becomes a nightly support system for your cognitive health. As you sleep, its nutrients help your brain clear waste more efficiently and strengthen communication pathways between neurons. For seniors, this can mean waking up with brighter thinking, better word recall, and a more alert mind. The beauty of both spinach and kale is their versatility. They can be enjoyed cooked or raw, blended into smoothies, added to soups, scrambled into eggs, tossed into salads, or sautéed with olive oil. Even small portions make a difference because these greens are so densely packed with lutein. For seniors who struggle with appetite or digestion, a single smoothie or a small serving of cooked greens still delivers a meaningful supply of the nutrients your eyes and brain crave. What makes these greens especially valuable is how naturally they fit into the rhythms of the body. They don't force the body to do unnatural work or rely on synthetic compounds. Instead, they align perfectly with the body's design, providing nourishment during the day that leads directly to better restoration at night. When you choose spinach or kale, you're choosing foods that have supported human health for centuries, foods that carry the exact compounds your eyes and brain rely on for long-term function. If you want your nightly repair cycle to work at its highest potential, start by giving it the richest, most natural source of fuel you can. Among all the foods that contain lutein, eggs hold a special place because of one remarkable advantage. The lutein they provide is the most absorbable form your body can use. It's not just about how much lutein a food contains, it's about how much your body can actually take in, transport, and put to work. And eggs, specifically the yolk, deliver lutein wrapped in natural fats that act like a delivery system, helping it move straight into the bloodstream and then into the eyes and brain where it can support nightly repair. This makes eggs an incredibly powerful and practical choice for seniors who want to rebuild vision and cognitive function without relying on complicated routines or supplements. During the day, when you eat eggs, you're giving your body a steady and efficient source of lutein that remains available long enough to support the deep healing work that happens at night. Inside the egg yolk, lutein exists in a highly bioavailable form, meaning your body doesn't have to struggle or waste energy breaking it down. It's ready to go, ready to nourish, ready to protect, and because lutein is a fat-soluble nutrient, the presence of healthy fats in the yolk allows for even greater absorption. This is why eggs outperform many plant sources in terms of how effectively the body can use them, even if plants contain more lutein on paper. But eggs provide more than just lutein. They also supply choline, a nutrient absolutely essential for brain health. Choline helps build neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that allow your brain to think clearly, store memories, and react quickly. As you sleep, choline supports the stabilization of new memories and the repair of brain cell membranes. When paired with lutein, eggs become a powerful combination for cognitive resilience. Seniors who include eggs in their diet often notice better mental energy, improved recall, and steadier focus. Not because of any artificial stimulation, but because their brains finally have the structural support they need. This nourishment plays directly into nighttime healing. Once you lie down to rest, lutein from earlier meals begins to accumulate in the retina, reinforcing macular pigment and helping counteract the oxidative stress the eyes endure throughout the day. Meanwhile, in the brain, lutein works hand in hand with choline to protect neural tissues from inflammation and oxidative damage. Together, they allow your mind to wake up clearer and more refreshed, even if the night's sleep wasn't perfect. The body's repair system is smart. It uses whatever nutrients you give it. This is why supplying lutein in the most absorbable form becomes so important as you age. Eggs are also accessible. They're affordable, easy to prepare, gentle on digestion, and versatile enough to appear in breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Whether boiled, scrambled, poached, or blended into dishes, they remain one of the simplest ways to nourish your eyes and brain consistently. For seniors looking for a practical habit that doesn't feel overwhelming or restrictive, adding an egg a day can create a meaningful difference in how well the body repairs overnight. When you want to support the systems that keep you independent, sharp, and confident, choose the form of lutein your body can use with the greatest ease. When we talk about lutein-rich foods, it's easy to focus only on the foods that contain the highest amounts of the nutrient. But equally important is how well your body absorbs and uses that lutein, and this is where avocados step forward as a true ally, especially for seniors. While avocados may not boast the same concentration of lutein as leafy greens, they offer something just as valuable: the healthy fats needed to transport lutein into the cells of your eyes and brain. Without these fats, much of the lutein you consume can pass through the body unused. With them, lutein becomes significantly more powerful, more accessible, and more effective during your overnight repair cycles. Lutein is a fat-soluble nutrient, which means it needs to be paired with fat in order to be absorbed. This is why adding avocado to meals has such a profound impact. Avocados contain monounsaturated fats, smooth, heart-healthy fats that the body not only tolerates but thrives on. These fats act like a carrier, wrapping around lutein molecules and helping escort them through the digestive system, across cell membranes, and into the retina and neural tissue. It's a delivery system nature designed perfectly, and seniors benefit from it more than anyone because nutrient absorption tends to decline with age. When you include avocado, you're giving your body every chance to capture the lutein you consume and put it to work where it matters most. Beyond improving absorption, avocados bring their own brain-boosting benefits. They're rich in folate, vitamin E, and antioxidants that help counteract the inflammation and oxidative stress that quietly accumulate in the brain over time. Every day, the brain battles microscopic damage caused by stress, toxins, and the natural aging process. During sleep, your brain attempts to cleanse this buildup and reset your neural pathways. The nutrients in avocados support this nightly cleansing by strengthening cell membranes, enhancing communication between neurons, and helping preserve the tissues involved in memory and concentration. It's a gentle, nourishing support that doesn't rely on stimulants or artificial means, just pure, natural fuel that aligns with how the body is designed to function. For seniors, avocados also offer a practical advantage. They're easy to incorporate into nearly any meal. Spread on whole grain toast, added to eggs, blended into smoothies, tossed into salads, or simply sliced alongside lunch or dinner, avocados enhance any dish while quietly amplifying your lutein intake. They're soft, easy to digest, and provide steady energy without spikes or crashes. Many seniors find that adding avocado to a lutein-rich meal like spinach, kale, or eggs helps them feel more satisfied, more energized, and more mentally steady throughout the day. When evening comes and the body begins shifting toward rest and repair, those healthy fats continue playing their role. They slow digestion just enough to keep nutrients available longer, giving the eyes and brain more time to draw on the lutein stored earlier in the day. This means your nightly repair cycle has greater resources to strengthen vision, support neural function, and rebuild what daily life wears down. If you want lutein to work at its full power, give it the companion that helps it reach its potential. One of the most encouraging truths about lutein is that its impact isn't limited to long-term protection alone. Its benefits can be felt in very real day-to-day ways, especially when it comes to memory, focus, and night vision. These are three areas where many seniors begin to notice subtle changes as the years go by. Reading at dusk becomes a little harder, remembering names or details takes an extra moment, driving at night feels less comfortable than it used to. These experiences are common, but they're not simply signs of inevitable decline. They are signals that the eyes and brain are asking for more of the nutrients that help them function at their best. And lutein, taken daily, can make a noticeable difference in how these systems perform both during the day and while you sleep. Lutein works in the eyes by strengthening the macular pigment, the layer that helps you see sharp detail and adapt to changes in light. When this pigment is well nourished, the eyes respond more quickly, when moving from bright conditions to dim ones. This is why lutein is so effective for improving night vision. Seniors who increase their lutein intake often report that glare from headlights becomes less intense, shadows appear clearer, and navigating or reading in low light feels more comfortable. These improvements don't require perfect vision or youth. They simply require giving the eyes the nutrition they need to function the way they were designed to. But lutein's influence extends into the brain in a way that is just as fascinating. Unlike many nutrients that stay within the body's outer systems, lutein actually concentrates in the parts of the brain responsible for learning and memory. As you go about your day, your brain is constantly forming, storing, and organizing information. By nighttime, it begins its natural process of clearing waste and solidifying memories. Lutein supports this nightly process by reducing oxidative stress and inflammation in neural tissue. This means brain cells communicate more efficiently, information flows more smoothly, and memory pathways remain stronger and more resilient. Consuming lutein daily creates a cumulative effect. It doesn't work like a stimulant that gives a quick burst and fades. It works more like steady reinforcement for the structures that support mental clarity. Over time, seniors often notice that recalling details feels easier, concentration becomes steadier, and mental fatigue becomes less intrusive. These changes may start small, but they quietly rebuild the confidence that comes from feeling mentally sharp and capable. This improvement in cognitive function also has emotional benefits. When the mind feels clear, the world feels easier to navigate. Tasks that once required effort become more natural, conversations feel more fluid, the simple act of remembering what you walked into a room to retrieve starts happening more reliably. All of this contributes to a stronger sense of independence and well-being, which is deeply important as the years progress. The beauty of lutein is that it doesn't rely on drastic changes or complicated interventions, it just requires consistency. A daily intake, whether from spinach, kale, eggs, avocados, or a combination, builds a reserve your eyes and brain pull from night after night. And the more regularly you consume it, the more noticeable the improvements become. When you nourish your body with the nutrients it depends on, you give yourself the power to see more clearly, think more clearly, and live more clearly.